Good morning, students. Today we are going to start Kingdom Plantae, or the plant kingdom. In plant kingdom, the organisms are multicellular, autotrophic eukaryotes. Autotrophic means that they make their own food, and there are about more than 3 lakh different species of plants. Among the 5 Kingdom Plantae is very important, as they are the source of food for all other living creatures present on earth, because even people who are non-vegetarian, who eat meat, they also need plants. How? Because of the animals who are eating the plants to survive. And their characteristics is that they are eukaryotic, because they have a well-developed nucleus, and their cell wall is covered with an outer covering which is formed of cellulose, and they are multicellular organisms having well-developed tissue system and organ system. You can see in this 5 kingdom classification in Plantae, the cell type is eukaryotic, and cell wall is present made up of cellulose. They have nuclear membrane, they have tissue organs, and they are autotrophic. That means that they do photosynthesis. In the next kingdom, which is a very big kingdom, and it is known as Kingdom Animalia. And in Kingdom Animalia, there are different types of animals present, and they are divided into different classes. The first is vertebrates. Vertebrate means which have a backbone. Like even human beings come in Kingdom Animalia because we have a backbone. All those animals who have a backbone, they comes in Kingdom Vertebrates in Animalia. Their characteristic is that they have a well-developed head, they have nervous system and vertebral column. That means they have a backbone and ribs, and their respiration. And they are also divided into 5 classes. Like class 1 is Pisces. It is divided into 2 subclass, which is known as the cartilaginous fish, which lives in the marine environment. Their body is made as a spindle shape. They have a cartilaginous skeleton, means their skeleton is made up of cartilage, and their respiration is done through gills, and they have a 2-chambered heart, in which the examples can be Scolidion, torpedo, which means electric ray, trigon, and spring ray. As you can see in the figure which is given on top, that how they look. A dogfish and a electric ray. The second subclass is a bony fish. Bony fish means their body is spindle shaped and covered with cycloid scales, and their skeleton is partly or fully bony. Examples are rohu, seahorse, flying fish, and climbing perch. And there are one more fish type, which is ferocious fishes, which is mandarin fish, angler fish, and lionfish. And all these fish you can see in the figures that are given, and even you can see it in the book, and some of you might have seen in reality. Class 2 is Amphibia. Amphibia means in this class amphibian comes. Amphibia is a word comes from Greek which means both life, which means amphi means both, bios means life. So these animals, they can live in water as well as on land, and they are cold-blooded and they lay eggs, and they have male and female different. The example is very common, a frog and a toad, and you might have seen these comes in the class Amphibia in animal kingdom. Next is Rapitalia, which means reptiles. They are cold-blooded, egg-laying vertebrates because they have a vertebral column, and they have limbs, and their body is divided into head, neck, trunk and tail. Their skin is dry, and they have lungs to do respiration, and their heart is 3-chambered. Examples are lizard, snake, chameleon, or Draco, which is flying lizard, and these comes. There's a difference between amphibians and reptiles, which can be seen in this table. For amphibians, the skin is smooth, whereas in reptile, the skin is rough. And amphibians can live in water as well as land, whereas reptiles, they live on the land. Next class is aves. Aves means birds. We all know that birds, they fly and they are warm-blooded and oviparous vertebrates. Oviparous means that they lay egg, and their body is spindle shaped. They have hollow bones for them because they need to fly and they need their weight to be less. They have lungs from which they do respiration, and they have a sphinx, not larynx. Sphinx is also a type of voice box, and their heart is 4-chambered. Next class is Mammalia. In Greek, mammal means mammary glands, which means they also have hair, clade, air breathing, and are warm-blooded vertebrates like us. Different types of body with hair. The characteristics are there that they have 2 types of limbs with 5 fingers, respiration by lungs, their heart is 4-chambered, and they have mammary glands to feed milk, and presence of external ears, and they are mostly viviparous. Viviparous means that they lay the child. An example is man, lion, tiger, elephant, monkey, and rat. They don't give eggs. And you can see the next is invertebrates. Invertebrates are animals that neither possess nor develop a vertebral column, derived from notochord. This includes all animals apart from the subphylum Vertebra. They don't have a vertebral column. The body consists of numerous pores, and each pore containing an opening called operculum. And you can see them in the figure given here. Examples are glass sponge, Venus flower basket, bath sponge. The next is phylum 2, which is Cnidaria or Coelenterata, which means hollow gut. It includes hydra, jellyfish, sea anemone, and corals. They are both aquatic, solitary, and they are present in marine life. They have tentacles, and their body is made up of two layers of cells, diploblastic, and their reproduction is asexual and sexual both. The examples are hydra, jellyfish, sea anemone, red coral, and corallium. Next is phylum 3. They all comes in invertebrates, okay, because they don't have vertebral column, they don't have the backbone, and we are going into phylum 3. Tanaphora, which means comb carrying. They have transparent body with biradial symmetry, 2 tentacles, 8 longitudinal rows of ciliary comb plates for locomotion. And the examples are comb jelly, Venus girdle, cestum, borae, and you can see them in the figure given here. Next is phylum 4, Platyhelminthes, which means beat worm or flatworm. So they also don't have vertebral column. And this type of animals is dorso-ventrally flat. They are like leaf or ribbon. Their body is bilaterally symmetrical, and they are mostly parasites because they feed on others. And some are free living, but mostly they live inside animals. And these three, which the examples which are given, like liver fluke, planaria, and tapeworm, they live inside the body of others. And carefully you can look at these images. The examples of phylum 5 is Nematoda or Nemathelminthes, which are roundworms, which means thread-like. Their characteristic body cavity is not a true colon but a pseudo-colon, which means it's not complete. And their alimentary canal is also not complete. They are triploblastic. 3 types of cells are present, unsegmented, and have bilateral symmetry. Their sexes are separate. Example, roundworm and pinworm. Here, Ascaris is a type of roundworm, as you can see on figure B. It's a parasite that lives in the intestine of human beings and mostly in children's body. So they live and they cause a disease called trichinosis and filariasis. Both of them, they live inside the body of children. So this is why we take medications for these worms. Next class is phylum 6, Annelida or ring segmented worms. They include segmented worms such as earthworm, leech, etc. Their body is long and segmented. They are found in moist soil, fresh and seawater. Presence of true body cavity, so true organs are present in the body. Some of the interior body segments concentrate to form head. Locomotion by chitinous setae or parapodia. And you might have seen this commonly everywhere, right? And next phylum is near and around us, like housefly, cockroach, mosquito, butterfly, grasshopper, millipede, and scorpion. Some of them are dangerous, some are not, but they all carry diseases. Now phylum 8, mollusca, which means that their body is very soft and they have a head, ventral foot, and dorsal visceral mass. They have gills to do respiration and outer calcareous shell is present to protect the body, like chitin, octopus, pila, and unio. Unio is like a seashell. Now phylum 9, Echinodermata. Their body is unsegmented and is covered by calcareous shell. The Echinodermata means spiny or hedgehog, and you can see them in the examples of the images given. They are sea animals and found on the sea bottom, crawling. They don't come up, mostly only with tides and waves. So this is the last phylum of animal kingdom. Like asterisk starfish, cucumaria, sea cucumber, isocrinus, sea lily, sea urchin, and brittle star. These are all examples. So please go through and read all these. Thank you and have a nice day. And we'll see tomorrow for the notes.